Hello and welcome to our first writing episode. I'm sure you're really anxious to know all about writing and quite scared, but fear not, it's very easy. I'm going to give you a few tips to help you get there. When it comes to writing, you have to know that writing is a process. A process which means you have to get through a number of steps to get there. You can't just get there all of a sudden. You have to follow a number of steps. Let's understand how writing works. You start with your outline. And in your outline, you put your ideas, your main ideas, your supporting details, your thoughts, what you think. You put these down in bullet point forms. You don't need to write them in full sentences. Now, I advise you to do this in order for you to find it more easier when it comes to finding the information you're looking for. So try to put your information or your ideas in order to help you when it comes to writing the essay. Now, once we've done the outline, we move on to the essay part of the question. Now, the essay should always be written in full. You should write it in paragraphs, in full sentences, and it should talk about one main theme by elaborating on your main ideas, supporting details, and giving examples. It's very important. We're going to give you a number of steps to help you get there in a few minutes after we've looked at the writing rubrics. Some of you may be asking, why do I need to know the rubrics for writing? I'll tell you why. When it comes to writing, you're going to be assessed for a number of things. If you know what these things are, it will help you get a nice written essay in a very, very easy manner. You're going to be assessed for your outline. So remember to write down the ideas that you're going to use. Then it comes to the ideas and exposition of ideas and coherence. What do I mean by that? Exposition of ideas is how you present your ideas. So the ideas that you've listed or you've written down in the outline, now it's time for you to present them to us. You have to present them in a coherent way. They have to fit together. I don't want you to just list down the ideas and memorize. If you memorize set book questions and written down in the essay, it shows that you're not thinking. You have to have coherence. So it's not about the number of ideas, but how you present them, which is exposition of ideas, and coherence, how they all fit together. Then you're going to be assessed for the paragraphing and number of sentences. In any essay questions, they always give you the acquired number of sentences. So they'll tell you, write 10 to 12 sentences, 12 to 14, 14 to 16. So if you stick to the allocated number of sentences, then you'll be on the safe side. Remember, you should always use paragraphing, and we'll get to that in a minute on how your paragraphs should look like. You'll also be assessed for your spelling, your grammar, your handwriting, and punctuation. Remember, when it comes to handwriting, it reflects who you are as a writer. So write in a neat, clean way to show that you've really taken time to write this essay and show the reader and the person who's looking at your essay that you took time to present your ideas. Now that we've established how to write, we need to look at the types of essays we're going to be studying or looking at today in this episode. Today we'll be looking at the expository writing essay. Now, from the name expository, it's to inform and expose. So you're trying to show something. Expose, like expose, to show. These types of essays have three different types. They can either be cause and effect essays, which shows how one thing leads to another and why one thing happens. Cause and effect. Something happens and there's a result. A certain set of events. Very, very simple. The other type of essay is comparison and contrast essays. And if you were focusing on our second episode, you'll know that comparative and contrastive connectors will be very, very useful in these types of essays because we're trying to compare and contrast two things to focus on similarities or differences. The third type of expository essay is a process essay, where people, what do? They explain a process. You're trying to share information and show the reader how something works, how a process works. Process. Remember when we said process is a number of steps? You're just trying to show these steps or this process to the reader. Easy? Now, I know you're saying, why is she talking about all this? I need to know how can I start answering the writing question. Now, it's not easy. Remember, writing is a process. So we're going to take it one step at a time. We start with what? With our sentence. And you're going to be asking, what is a sentence? Now, remember, a sentence is a set of words that is complete in itself. So it starts with a capital letter and ends with a full stop and talks about one thing. This is a sentence. Then we're going to use that sentence to create a paragraph. And a paragraph is a group of sentences all talking about the same thing. So each paragraph or each idea or each topic in one paragraph. Then we said each paragraph has how many ideas? One. You're going to use a group of paragraphs, different ideas talking about the same topic to form what? Your essay. Exactly. So this is how it works. You make sentences, create paragraphs, and then your essay is formed. Easy? Exactly. Very easy. Let's look at this example of a sentence. This is how your sentence should look like. Last spring, my family went to a picnic went on an amazing picnic to Al Khairan Resort. This is how your sentence should look like. I think you want to look at the paragraph. Here it is. Your paragraph should look like this. Remember, it should be indented in the beginning. And this is how your essay looks like. Now, I want you to look at the word indent. Focus and notice that each paragraph is indented, which means that there is like a finger space before you start the first sentence of each paragraph. You indent, you add a finger space, and then you start writing, as you can see on the screen. This is how your essay should look like. Very clean, very nice. Now, you've heard the word hook. Hook. Start with the hook. All teachers are urging students to start with a hook. Now, you're going to be wondering, what is the hook? I'll tell you. The hook is the first sentence of your essay that you use to attract your audience. So you're trying to attract the reader, to make them do what? To make them willing to read your essay. So it has to be something really interesting, either a quote, a question, if you memorize something from the Quran. Now, when you try to use something from the Quran, if you can translate it, do it. If you can't, please avoid that and just go with a quote or a question or an interesting fact that you know. After we've written our hook, we start with our thesis statement. Don't be scared from that. The name is difficult. However, the thesis statement is the most important part of your essay. Why? Because it focuses your ideas together. It shows you how you're going to write. Now, it should present the topic of your paper and also make a comment about your position in relation to the topic. So, when you're trying to use the thesis, as you can see here on the screen, you're trying to present the topic and make a comment. So, it's important that you, as a writer, write down what's your position in relation to the topic. Now that we've established the basics of writing, let's look at how your essay should look like. We'll break it down into 4 sections. You start with your introduction, which includes what? Your hook and thesis statement. Then you have the first body, which has one topic, a topic sentence, and supporting ideas. Then you have body 2, which has another topic sentence and supporting ideas. And finally, you end your essay with a conclusion that either what? Summarizes the whole thing, summarizes it, or paraphrases the introduction. It's easy to say these things, but now we're going to start the real work of writing your essay. So let's check that you got them correctly. A thesis statement includes a clear topic. This is a given. You have to have a clear topic. And the thesis statement needs the writer's view. So you need to know your position on the topic. It's very important. You always need to state that. And finally, a thesis statement has a plan of development. Always? No. If necessary. So if necessary, we're going to add it. If not, then no need. Now we're going to start with the real writing. And for me, I'm going to use the tree strategy. It's a very easy strategy that will help you make writing easier. Now, it's broken down into 4 steps, when you have to mention the topic, the reason, explain, and an ending. Very simple. 4 steps that you have to follow. Let's take it one at a time. In your topic, we're going to apply the tree strategy for what? The introduction. So let's see, what do we do? In our topic, we're going to attract the reader's attention. How? This is our hook. This is what we have to mention. So in your topic, you attract the reader's interest. Then you mention the reason. Why? You state the main idea advanced in the essay. So whenever you mention a topic to try to interest something, you have to mention a reason. Why did you say that? Then you're going to say an explanation, give an explanation, explain by adding a list of points that support the thesis. So your topic and reason will be the thesis, and the explanation will be the supporting part of the thesis. Your ending is a final thought, either a final thought on the idea or a final thought on the topic itself. Easy? Very easy. Now, let me tell you, the explanation, the list of points that you mention in your thesis statement are going to be what? They're going to be the main ideas for your body 1 and body 2. Easy. And now it's time to see a sample. Let's apply writing together. Look at the question. Let's look at the screen. Write about the following. A large number of people move from their homes in country areas to live in cities. Now, where is the question? Plan and write a report of 14 sentences, around 160 words, discussing the causes of rural depopulation and its negative effects. Now, as you can see here, they're asking you to write a report. How many sentences? 14 sentences. And what do you have to do? You have to discuss the causes of rural depopulation and its negative effects. They've even planned the whole thing for you. So all you have to do is mention one paragraph about rural depopulation and the other paragraph about the negative effect. How easy is English? It's all there for you. All you have to do is, just write it down. Let's look at the tree strategy and try to write down the answer. Now, all you have to do is to look at the question. In 14 sentences, discuss the causes of rural depopulation and the negative effects. Let's start with our introduction. You start, very easy. Nowadays, more and more people are moving from the country into the city. This is our hook. I'm just telling you information that maybe is not obvious to you. This is called rural depopulation. I've given you a fact. Now we're going to start with our thesis. In this essay, I will discuss the causes of rural depopulation and its negative effects. And as you can see here, I've mentioned the causes of rural depopulation. This is our first body, and the negative effects, the second body. Now that we've established how to write the introduction, we've moved on to body 1. All you have to do is write down the topic. What is the topic? Which here we said moving to the city, the reasons why people move to the city, and to provide an ending to explain why they do that. So remember to always follow the tree strategy. Write down what your topic is, what are the reasons for that, and what? Explain. Let's see how that works. Many people prefer the city to rural areas. This is a fact. There are many reasons for them to move to the city. Now we're going to provide the reason. One of the biggest reasons is that they seek better public services and education for their children. I'm explaining now. Now they move for many reasons. One of them, better public services and education for their children. They even believe to have better paying jobs there. This is another explanation and another example. The multiple and vast types of entertainment, again, explanation, there such as cinemas, malls, theaters, and restaurants play a big factor in moving to the city. And if you notice these final sentences, they play a big factor in moving to the city. Here, I'm ending the whole paragraph. I'm summing it all up. We're going to apply the same thing for body 2. Mention the topic, the reason, and an explanation. And we said for body 2, what is our topic that we're going to talk about? The negative effects of rural depopulation. So, people do not realize that their move to the city can have a negative effect on the area they live. This is, the part in yellow, is our topic. Now we're going to provide reasons. As people leave from rural areas to cities, the amount of people living there decreases. This is the reason. It's negative because it goes down, it decreases. It can result in people going out of business and even in farms being deserted. Here I'm explaining. Moreover, as more and more people move into the city, they risk the chance of causing overcrowding. Another example. Finally, we're going to get to our conclusion. And remember, we said in the conclusion, you either paraphrase the introduction or summarize the whole thing. Living in a city can offer you many things, but at the same time, you have to be willing to cope with overcrowding. You need to understand that your choice will not affect you, but others as well. For even though you may find great opportunities, you may be robbing your old area from some. And here we've summarized the whole thing for you. Your essay should look like this. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4 paragraphs, all indented in a clear way. This brings us to the translation section of the episode. Remember, when it comes to translation, avoid translating word for word. We don't want you to translate every single word. We're trying to translate the meaning and not the word itself. Avoid word for word translation and just get the meaning. The other thing you should do is don't leave space for words you don't understand. So if there are words that you don't know, don't leave a blank space on the paper for them. Just write an alternative or just disregard them and write what you understand from the whole sentence. Let's look at examples of translations to help you get there. Translate the following into good English. لقد أصبح الانتقال من الريف إلى المدينة معكوسا في بعض الدول. So all you have to do is try to look for words that you've taken in your vocabulary and fill them in and then write the whole meaning of the sentence. The move from the countryside to the city has been reversed in some European countries. And as you can see, these are some words that you've studied in class, so it's very easy to translate. It's not very difficult. The other sentence here, صحيح إن الكثير من الأثرياء ينتقلون إلى الريف هربا من الازدحام والتلوث والتوتر. Try to find words that you've studied in class and fill them in. True, many wealthy people move to the countryside to escape from the overcrowding, pollution, and tension. This brings us to the end of our episode. In this episode, we looked at how you can write an essay. We looked at the types of expository essays, cause and effect, comparison and contrast, and process essays. We also used the tree strategy to write down an essay, provided you with a sample, and looked at tips for translation. Thank you for watching.